Hello, hello, hello. I am making a nice, relaxing video. I got my roll of toilet paper here now, always in this shelf, because sometimes I cry and then I need to blow my nose. This is also a therapy for me, and I love it, and it's gorgeous. And my roses are coming out. My pastel colored, it's almost a blue, like a purplish pastel white. Real amazing. That one is blooming now, and tomorrow it will probably be completely open like this. And then I will go out there and make a video of the flower. And the white rose has a bud, and that is starting to open up now too, very gradually. And I just earlier I went over there, I was cleaning up the garden, and I just sat next to the rose and just kept staring at the rose. And then Paul came also to see the rose, and he was delighted. And we kept talking about the roses and how beautiful they are, and they are really the queen of all flowers. So beautiful, and they smell so good, and they're so healing. They have healing power, and once they're in full bloom, so you can let them enjoy themselves for a while, and then before it wilts, you have to just break it off under the on the neck underneath the bud, and then you can make tea with it, and it is a very potent nerve tonic, very, very amazing. I made this sweater myself, by the way. It's my own couture. Nice. And it comes over the hips, so that's why I started making sweaters, because out of necessity, I needed to make sweaters that come over my hips, and my back is so long and so unusually long, and so all the other sweaters, they kind of like, they don't, there's always skin showing, and then I get cold, so I had to make myself long sweaters. And I'm wearing, one is my own creation called Chocolate Dinosaur Love. It's this one here. It's really good. I see that this one also has some spruce and needle tree imitation oil in it. Smells really, really good. And this here is from Tom Ford, and it's called Cafe Rose. I love it. Lovely. Wished I could share these scents. It's absolutely amazing. I'm a scent freak. Such pleasure, to dive into the world of perfumes. Natural, and also the fragrances, because the fragrances last much longer, of course, and they smell more artificial usually, but good in their own way. And they're very strong, of course. Wonderful, Tom Ford, wonderful. Tom Ford has amazing perfumes, amazing. He's a god level soul. He's 60 something. I think he's 60 and he looks like 30. It's incredible. That guy's incredible. Amazing. Very, very, very luxurious. A dream. So nice. Oh, spa treatment time. Yes, I got bullied last night. I always do. I always get bullied. Someone told me I look like 100 years old without teeth. I look like all of my teeth are missing. Well, I'm German, and the Germans, they have a jawline that, when you look at the profile, that kind of goes in like this. That is what it is, with teeth. It goes in like that. That's what it is, and that's why I said that. one of one of my sculptures, actually several of them, but particularly the hybrid dog, that really has that characteristic, that German retracted jawline characteristic. Yeah, I got this. I got that from my dad's side. I got it from, particularly from both of my grandparents from my dad's side. So my mother is a little bit more on, she has a bigger jaw. She is a little bit more on the gypsy side, more on the, I don't know, like the Mongolian side or something. There could be some Jewish in her from way back somewhere. So it would be interesting, to do a DNA test. But majority German with that retracted jawline. Yes, that's not my fault. I did not choose it like that. If I could choose it, I would choose to look like Babette, like that animation girl, and she has a big jaw, real big jaw. And I find that very beautiful. And the reason why I find that very beautiful, big jaw, is because that's different to my DNA, that's different to my genetics. We find that beautiful, what is different to our genetics. That's our biology, and just in case people didn't know that. And that's also why we want to have that, what the other person has. So it has to do with the biology, it has to do with liking that, finding that attractive, what the other person from with the other DNA has. So the different, if we're very different in DNA, we find each other attractive. So, and vice versa. So there, it's not like people are just You know, I see so much bullshit on the internet. I don't even want to repeat what they say because I don't even want to put those words into my mouth. There's so much misinformation, just so much anti-information about nature, about our biology, about our systems, about our brains, our psychology, our likes and dislikes, you know. So there's so much anti-information going around. So many conspiracy theories that are totally wacky and that are totally not based on biology at all. Yeah, I did gain some weight because I've been eating chocolate, and that's not a good idea. It is not a good idea at all. It just, it's awful. It immediately packs on fat and under my chin, and it doesn't look very good. No, that's just too much, you know. I'm like going way overboard now with that. Even though I have only eaten one chocolate a day, but one chocolate a day actually does not keep the doctor away. And it does not keep the fat away. That's for sure. I'm trying to I'm trying to look a little bit better. Trying different perspectives here. Like half a face would be prettier. So whatever, you know, just don't worry about it. It's just what it is. Don't worry about it. Don't be so picky all the time. You know, just go with the flow and accept people for who they are, you know, even if they're overweight or old or whatever. Just go by what they have to offer to the world. You don't have to marry that person, you don't have to date that person. Just, you know, hear them out, what they have to say. You know, maybe they have something to contribute. So why bully people? Why be mean to them? Because they have a different jawline than you have. So you have to interpret things into that. Even though it hurt, I had to laugh. I had to laugh about that. Someone told me years ago that I look like a grandmother in a video game. That was very, very painful. That was very painful. I cried for many days. Yeah, that is not funny. I have to get that pillow here. So this is more comfortable. Yeah, that's how it goes. I get bullied all the time. And I don't bully anyone back. But if beware if I let that bully run himself against the wall verbally. And he just doing it to himself, right? But beware if I let him run against his own wall with his words. Let him expose himself by running against the cement wall that he will encounter during those conversations. Because I will point out that your arguments are insults and they have nothing to do with the subject. They have nothing to contribute. and then they will get angry, and then they will reveal themselves to the public how much they are actually hurting underneath. And then they get really mad, and then they get mad at me. I didn't do anything. They do it to themselves. They reveal themselves eventually, and then they get mad at me for it. But they are doing it to themselves, and they will never take the responsibility for anything. They will never take the responsibility for being total jerks and assholes and psychopaths. And it often happens that they start out bullying, not just me, but they start out bullying a woman really, really, really badly, right? And then after about an hour of tweeting, of the tweets and the conversations and whatever other people involved, then they suddenly change their minds and they go, she's kind of cute. Whether she likes that person or not doesn't matter. It's like, I changed my mind. I want her. Now she better go for me. That's how they're thinking. That they have bullied her for an hour into the ground. That is like, okay, whatever. That doesn't matter to them. They're not even embarrassed about that. It's like they're not even embarrassed about bullying someone for an hour and then changing their mind and wanting something from that person. Not even embarrassed about that. So, and then if I point that out, then they become exposed, right? And then they get really, really mad at me, not at themselves for being, they should be mad at themselves for, they should be looking inwardly into themselves, right? Instead, and they should understand that they have been extremely psychopathic in that tweet, but they don't see it from that angle. They only see they want to have fun. They want to be on bath salts. They want to bully the shit out of someone else, and then they want to fuck that person afterwards. It's like, okay, yeah, that makes no sense whatsoever, but whatever. And then if you point it out, they will really, really get mad. Boy, they will get mad. They will get mad at the other person who pointed that out in a peaceful, civilized way. Because they can't take any responsibility for their own actions. Your lives would be so much better, so much more fun, so much more composed and civilized and productive if you started to look into yourselves and started to really critically look at yourselves and at the way you interact with other people. Start doing some yoga and meditation, and then realize that the other person has feelings. We have feelings. We're sentient beings, with or without double chin, with or without retracted jawline. We have feelings. We're sentient beings. Everyone wants to be loved, whether we're socially accepted or not, whether we're Hollywood beauty accepted or not, whether we're socially condemned as ugly or not, or as pretty or beautiful or whatever. We all want love. We all need love. Every living being is so, so much needing love, needing affection, not just the sexual. This is what people think the sexual is the only way to be intimate. No, 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 no. No, I'm talking about real affection, like like the like an affection you can have to your 80-year-old grandmother, who is a very sweet grandmother, very caring, and who bakes food for you, and you know that's what I'm talking about. The affection, not the sexual part. Okay, affectionate love. Okay, that can also happen between sexual partners. When then it's a wonderful connection, then it's also wonderful sex and wonderful all the way around romance, when that love is included. But what I see on the internet is that only a small percentage of humans put that love and that caring into their romantic relationships, particularly in heterosexual relationships, and particularly men who are completely disconnected from that love and that compassion and that kindness and that caring. They see that woman as an object that they're entitled to. And if she has a mind on her own, she's going to be labeled a bitch. She's going to be called a Tiffany. Yeah, that's what she's going to be called. Like that one MacTow guy. He hates anyone with the name Tiffany. What a total pathetic. I mean, that's like, I don't want to be too mean, in my word choice. So, but, that's not very smart. Really. I'm sure there are some very caring Tiffany's in the world. There are some animal rights Tiffany's. There are Tiffany's of all walks of life. Okay? So the generalization alone in regards to that name, and then also in regards to red-headed women, that's quite something. There are some deeply caring red-headed women in the world, and there are some asshole red-headed women. I've met some asshole ones. Yes, well, I know they are out there. I'm not a redhead. So someone asked me what my hair color is. I tell you what my hair color is. It used to be very, very, very dark brown, like my eyes. So matching my eyes. I have some dark green patches in my eyes. So, but very dark. And that comes somewhere from Armenia and all that. So, way back. So then my hair started to get gray, and then I have been also coloring my hair with henna for many, many years before that. So it was like a dark henna red. So that's how my hair was until like, I don't know, 2 years ago or something, or a year and a half ago, when I started to spray my hair with a solution of water and hydrogen peroxide. So I put a cup of hydrogen peroxide into a spray bottle, put water in the rest of it, and I shake it and I spray that on my hair every day, and that evens out the gray a little bit, so looks a little bit more natural. It doesn't look so terrible, so it looks a little bit better. So that's what it is. So now I'm not a blonde. I definitely am not. I always wanted to be a blonde, but I'm not. I am what I am. Fat, old, with gray hair. That's what I am. Okay. So, and if someone has a problem with this, then don't watch my videos and don't even bother talking to me in the tweet. So it's just an easy solution. On the side there where you see the name and whatever they said, on the right side there are 3 dots, and so that's the function key. So these 3 dots, you click on these 3 dots, you have to freeze in the tweet by scrolling up a little bit. Then you click next to what they said on the line. I think it will highlight where the name is and what they said, and then you click on these 3 dots that are next to it on the right side, and then it opens up a few options, and among these options is block person, and you click block person, and then it will say so and so is blocked, and then you click OK, and it's done, and you never have to see that face again. Okay, so it's very simple. That's why I'm not ashamed of who I am. I'm not ashamed of being overweight. I like my life the way it is. I'm a little bit too overweight right now, and I need to do some exercising, and I have not had very much energy lately. Also been a little bit overwhelmed because of the animal rights petitions and the cruelty cases. So that's very hard for me. So my way of medicating myself is by eating a chocolate, and if I would let myself go, I would eat 10 chocolates per day. And so I have to use a lot of willpower on just eating 1 chocolate. It's not easy, and I also like to eat pasta, and I like to eat a bunch of stuff that is fattening. However, it's vegan, but it's still fattening. So, and then I'm not moving enough. So this is the health part, okay? And yeah, it's probably, some people probably find it ugly and all of that stuff, but that's not my problem, okay? So if you find someone ugly, you don't have to watch them. It's very simple on the internet. So in regards to embarrassment, because it's slightly different to shame. Embarrassment, yes, I feel a lot of times, I feel embarrassment because I know that people will judge and all of this, or they feel, I don't know, they laugh about me, or they feel, I don't know, alienated or shocked or whatever. That too is not my problem, but I will feel sometimes some bits of embarrassment here and there. So, and I deal with it by acknowledging I am feeling embarrassed, and I breathe with it. Yeah. And that's it. I'm not going to run away from it. I'm not going to go under the knife because of that. I'm not going to let that become shame. No. So, no, I'm not ashamed for existing. It's not my choice. It wasn't my choice. I didn't choose to exist. So maybe on a wider level, on a soul level, but not in the 3D. So in the 3D, I had 2 suicide attempts because I didn't like it. I didn't like existing. I wanted to get out. And I still do sometimes. But I have my papa dog and I have to be here for him. So my papa dog comes before anything else. So papa is my priority over everything else, including my depression, including my sadness and not feeling so good about existence. So existence very problematic on many levels. So much cruelty in the world that my brain is way too sensitive for. So earlier today I had a real severe moment when I got up. I had a severe moment of exhaustion. And I thought, why am I so exhausted? And then I talked to Paul about it and I said to Paul, I am so exhausted. And I don't know why. My whole life I have had this circulation problem, like low energy, getting out of breath real quickly and feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you just want to lie down all the time. My mother had it too. It's also genetic. But I think that's a form of depression. That's what that is. Being overwhelmed, basically. I get a lot of hate thrown at me, a lot of hate. A lot of people hate me. And the reason why they hate me is because I have good arguments. And the reason why I have good arguments is because I stick to truth, and truth itself doesn't even need an argument to represent it. Truth already finishes any kind of argument by itself. So I just consider myself to be a messenger of that. That's all. And truth is not welcomed by almost anyone, no matter where I go, no matter who I talk to. Because the ego doesn't like truth. The ego likes to latch on to social normations, religions, self-images, pride, also shame, any kind of identification with all kinds of things in the world. I don't have an identification. I'm flagless, nationless, nation-free, child-free, religion-free, bird-free. That's what I am. I am like a sea cucumber in a tide pool. The only difference is that I'm more multifunctional, but I'm not going to attach my idea of who I am to any of those functions. I don't pride myself with anything. I have gratitude that for being an artist, I like my artwork. That's not pride, that's just gratitude. And I don't have shame. I dissolved all of that. I have embarrassment sometimes because I know how different I am with things to how most people are. So I feel a little bit awkward and shy and embarrassed. But I'm not gonna let that make me feel ashamed, because I'm not ashamed for being an artist and a clown and a truth messenger. I'm not ashamed about loving myself the way I am, the way my body is, with the extra fat and all of this. I love my body, you know. My body is my life vessel. That is my motor functional sea cucumber, you know, and that is my cosmic spaceship and space suit, as I call it. So it's an alive space suit, a biological space suit. It's my biological exoskeleton. I have different words for it. So, and I love it. It's sweet, it's touching, it's kind, it's full of love. And I love it. And I kiss it. I wished other people would do the same thing. But even what I just said is already so alien. It's like extraterrestrial for most people. Because they never questioned their parents and their peer groups and their religions. They never questioned anything. And most people don't like themselves. And that's why they're so attached to social norms of beauty ideals and ideas that are handed down from generation to generation. And if there isn't a clown at some point in between, then the beauty ideal will not change very much over hundreds of years. But thank goodness for the clowns. Thank goodness for the jesters that said, wait a minute, the emperor has no clothes on, like in that fairy tale. Thank goodness for those, because I am one of those. We are truthers, we are truth messengers, and we're creative because we're thinking outside of that social norm. We think in terms of emotions, we think in terms of how it feels emotionally, how it feels physically to us. Our senses, all of it plays into it. And we like something that we created and that is very different to society, and we stick up to our new creation, and maybe some other people will stumble across that thing and will adapt to it, adopt it into their own lives and accept it, and they go, yeah, that works actually better, what that clown there made. So, and then it will probably first backfire with society, and and the king will say, you don't have the right to create pants for women, or say something about our star constellation, or say something about the moon, or say that the earth is a ball, or whatever people said. It will first backfire with those that prided themselves on false knowledge. So that really hurts the ego, when the false knowledge is being questioned. That hurts the ego. That's why these things take so long to evolve, the knowledge, and because the ego stands between that. If there wasn't an ego and this pride, and this pride also happens because of childhood shame. Okay, so it's an attempt to counterbalance the childhood hurt. And when they're unconscious about all of this, then they will fly off the handle. Then they will become violent, and if they have power, if they have like legislative leverage, and their egos are hurt, you better run, because then they will use that power against someone, against the jester and all of this. And if they could just sit down in meditation and really realize, man, the jester is right. The clown is right, the truther. Let me sit down in meditation and let me buy one of his new furniture that is so much more comfortable, or pant the nice comfortable pants, or whatever the truther has come up with, because the truther is not bound to social stagnation. So if he could just acknowledge and say, yeah, his new design works, or yeah, his rocket ship works, yeah, solar panels, they work, yeah, this is good, we can harvest sunlight, all these things. That's like, I can't list it all, that are things that are made from people that even have to go against the mainstream of rigid society. Not only that, that are being threatened by the oil industry, and so on and on and on and on and on. If the legislators, in the past it was kings and queens, if today it's the corporate agenda, if these CEO people could just sit down, it's not even the politicians so much, they're just facilitators, they're enablers. The people who run this planet are the corporate CEOs and the banks. The banks probably on the very top. So, and then there's a bunch of corruption and corrupt hand washing going on as well. Summit meetings of keeping the public stupid. If they could just sit down in meditation and go, hey, let's listen to the clown. Let's listen to the truther. Let's listen to the truth. What's actually going on. What's actually better. And acknowledge this. Acknowledge, yeah, he or she, whoever these people are that are truthers, different ones. Elon Musk, Alex Jones too. I don't agree with everything he said, but he's also a jester. And maybe he's not aware about everything, So, but he's aware about a lot of things. So if they, instead of censoring these people or giving them a real hard time like they do with Elon Musk, they can just sit down and say, yeah, man, he was right. I mean, the solar panels do work. That does work better for the planet. They could just acknowledge this. It would do them a lot of good. A lot of good. Because if they get away with their neurosis, eventually it will cut their own throats. Eventually it will. Even if they have their, like George W. Bush, I heard, has an eco mansion in Texas. Eco. Yeah, already completely off the grid and everything. Just in case. He wants to be safe. He doesn't want the other people to have that. So he'll bash it publicly. He'll bash green living. But he himself has it. Bill Gates too. An eco mansion. Huge. But publicly, outwardly, Bill Gates has think tank, anti think tank summit meetings to propagate to the public all kinds of lies about environmentalism and stuff.